Okay, now, this wall has kind of rotten because it hasn't been caulked over the years around the window, maybe somewhere on the roof, so I'm just pulling all this off, and then I'm going to replace the wood, take the window frame out like I did over there, replace the paneling where needed, and then eventually I'm going to get some tile, nice tile, to put up as a backsplash over this. And so underneath it here, this upper piece is going to be replaced too, because that is in bad shape. It's rotten too because it's kind of run down. These what they call uprights, in the upright inside of the truck bed, and then the side wings of these areas here that go out, these parts on a truck camper usually are not insulated, so, and it's just a single layer of plywood. So I'm going to take some of my styrofoam foam board, and I'm going to line these exterior facing surfaces with plywood, with foam board. So, and that means I've got to raise these pipes up and then unscrew this, and then put like maybe a wood block under this, screw it to a wood block, and then have my foam board underneath all of this, and so that'll help the insulation factor of it. And then here is this is the container for the propane tanks, and you can see that's a single layer of metal vented to the outside. That's going to let all kinds of cold air in, so you know that's not insulated. So I'm going to box all that in with foam board too, so that'll, you know, insulate it from the foam board, from the propane tanks, to keep it insulated. Okay, inside of this wall is wet. You can see that this here is wet as well, and I don't want to get rid of any, you know, rotten wood, as much of it as I can. So I've got this drill bit, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to drill into this wall, and I'm going to see exactly if it's wet in these different places to see exactly how far. This one's tight enough. Hold on. Got my little thing here. Okay. Okay. Now. Okay. Now everybody, this damage has come from the stove hood vent, and the outside of the stove hood vent is broken. So I guess the water's coming down in here because the outside of the stove hood vent is broken. So I'm going to let this dry out. I'm going to get rid of all this paneling here, and you can see it's dry here. Mostly dry here, but it's wet here. So take the window frame off and put this in with a new piece of paneling. I'm not going to replace all this behind here because this is inside the wall. This is where the natural seam is, and that's my trim piece, and I'm not going to break my trim piece. So I'm going to get a piece of plywood of thin paneling, put it in here, put it on there on this lower half, and put it on here, and there's some rot down underneath here too. And so I'm going to get rid of that, fix that. Underneath of there, there's a soft spot. Up in here, it's a soft spot, so I'm not going to tear it all out. Just have to move my duct out of the way. So yeah, that's what I have to do now. So I've gotten this cab over finished. It's pretty well finished in there. This wall is finished. It was leaking some here. The number one thing about these, sorry I don't have a wide angle lens, because the fact that it just films everything close up. So the whole point of it is these campers, they leak around the sides as well as the... Okay, now. I've gotten all of this torn out that I'm going to do. And inside of here, I've got as much of this done as I'm going to. I'm not going to put any paneling back in here. If anything, I'll just add another layer of foam board insulation. I have to let all this dry here, so this has to completely dry. Then I'll start here, put another piece of paneling, take the window frame off, and put a new piece of paneling over this, glue it, and nail it in place. So clean this mess up. All this came out of the wall. So the wall looked perfectly okay on the outside, but the outside of the vent cover is broken, so the water ran down in the wall. So a camper can have a lot more water damage than you can even think about seeing from the outside. So just okay. Now I've got the new piece of framing in place. This is nailed in here, and it's it's glued here, and on the back side to the fiberglass siding. So now I'm going to go get some more of this interior paneling, and I'm just going to mark it and figure it out so I can cut it. And I'm going to try to get this cutted and installed tonight. This paneling, new paneling. So that's what I want to do. And this wallpaper, I'm taking it down, and so it's coming down pretty well. This here has to come down, and then this here I'm going to take it down too, whether I want to put up more wallpaper or I want to paint it. Either way you look at it. So, and this is kind of wrinkled up here, so it needs to come down really. Okay, now the problem of humidity in a truck camper. One thing I want to do is to experiment with using a dehumidifier. This was in the house, and as you can see, this is the space it takes up in the camper. It produces water. I wanted to show you, there is a water tray, and it produces a lot of water. So you can add this to your fresh water tank. If you need to clean this water reservoir down there, and you can feed it straight into your fresh water tank, and you can use a generator to run it, because it is a compressor. This is a compressor like an air conditioner, and in order to run this thing, you have to have the compressor. It doesn't take up that much space in here, as you can see. So it rolls around. It's heavy, but it's not too heavy. We'll start this thing. We'll run this thing on constant. There's a spider in here. Ooh, I hate having spiders in here. But it's running right now, and so 65% relative humidity. We're going to try to lower this down to 40% humidity. So this is my humidity meter. I got new batteries for it. So I've got a little problem with ants, but not really bad. So there's another ant. I don't know where the ants are coming from. It's 65% right now. It's got to be lower, especially if I'm going to have some of my cassettes with me, my cassette tapes and stuff like that, and sensitive things. So it's important to keep the humidity low in a truck camper and in an RV. That's one of the main problems in an RV is humidity. So